So by this point, you should have hopefully had a nice introduction to for loops, iteration. We also would have seen functions. We haven't completely finished them. We haven't learned how to return, but that's fine. Now for the last missing piece, which is Boolean operators, Boolean values, and Boolean expressions. So we learned basically that we had different data types in Python, right? We found out that we had different types like the type of integer is the type of 4 is an int. 4.0 you have a float, right? You have all these different types in Python. One of the ones that we have not gone over is one that has special value, and excuse me if I get this wrong the first time around. It's capitalized. True. It's capitalized in different languages. True is Boolean, class bool. False is Boolean. And these are two values, true and false, that are used to express whether the truthiness or the falsiness of certain statements. And actual terms used in Python, truthiness and falsiness. They are not strings. They are two data types. Note that they do not have quotation marks, right? So, right, the type of true versus the string true, right? Notice they're colored differently. You will get very different results, right? Bool versus string with quotation marks. So true is one of those special words. And it's used to base... So how do you get true? How do you get false? Where do they come from, right? You can't really add things and you can't add 1 plus 1 and have the result be true. Well, you get them with... Well, right there we used a binary operator. 1 plus 1, right? When you work with 1 plus 1, you get a... this is an operator that results in a number plus another number, right? So we resolve into another number. But what we need are Boolean expressions. So we're going to be using some Boolean operators here. Now we're going to start with sums that actually should not be too scary for you at all. So let's look at the first one. The greater than sign, okay? If I say 5 is greater than 1, note that the type that it will come out as is a Boolean. So let's go ahead and print out so let's stop running it like that. Class bool. So now let's actually just, do 5 is greater than 1, right? And if we, again, I'm going to throw this into the terminal. I'm throwing this into the terminal as opposed to running it. 5 is greater than 1. True. So this is a Boolean operator, one that you're fairly familiar with. And if you've got a greater than, that means you've got a less than, right? I wonder what that was about. Print. Let's go ahead and print. False. 5 is less than 1. That is false. Negative 2 is less than 1. That is true. Works exactly like you would expect. Now, of course, right, if you've got less than or greater than, you also probably have the equivalent statements with the equal signs. Less than or equal to, and my font's going to hopefully do something really weird here, where my font will simply combine them into 2. But in most programming languages, it should look like this. In most fonts, it will look like this next to this. This is a feature of ligatures that my font library is taking advantage of. So it's a really, 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 really nice feature that but hopefully this doesn't confuse you. I like it because this is so much easier to read. So, right, if we do it down here, let's see what happens. Yeah, so less than or equal to. It will typically look like that. But up here in my text editor, it just simply moves them together. It still takes up the same amount of character space. It's fine. Anyway, 0. So let's go ahead and say 0 is less than or equal to 1. Whoopsie. Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. 1, 2. Right, and that should be true, true, false. Right, and now greater than or equal to greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to. See, is 0 greater than or equal to 1? Nope. And then this is greater or equal to 1, and 2 is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, but what about equals? See if those two things are equal. What if they're the same? Well, first instinct is to do this. But that's assignment. In Python, this is assignment. See, it's already telling me that's a bad idea. Capital B, bad idea. Saying, don't do that. That's not right. Expression cannot contain assignment. Perhaps you meant the equal sign. Doubled equals. Two equal signs are used in pretty much every single modern programming language to check if two things are the same. In my editor, that just simply comes out as a big fat equal sign, which asks, are those two things the same? False, true, false. And then finally, to check if two things are not equal, right? These are all the operators from mathematics. We will use the exclamation point. This is also standard for every programming language. Not equals, and again, it will look like this on your system. Exclamation point equals. But on my system, because I like to make it easy to read for me, it will just simply say not equals. So 0 is not equal to 1. That is true. 1 is not equal to 1. That is false. They are equal. 2 is not equal to 1. That is true. Print that out. Awesome. Great. Okay, good job, everybody. Pack it up. Go home. That's all there is to it. Except I wish that were the case, but those are just the stuff we know about. Now let's look at how to make things a bit more. Those are our Boolean operators. Now let's take a look at the logical operators in the next video.